It's not the kind of thing that generally goes hand in hand when you think about the world's greatest physicists and a plastic toy, other than something that was probably melted in the desert as they were testing the atomic bomb.
My dad didn't even recognize Robert Downey Jr. when he saw the trailer. He's like, is that Robert Downey Jr.? I'm like, it is. He's like, holy cow. My dad said, I'm going to buy a ticket.
If anyone's earned the right as a director to do a 3-hour movie, it is Christopher Nolan.
There's a chance
He's had a Best Picture.
we destroy the world. Chances are near zero.
He has, for my money, the best produced superhero movie.
What do you want from theory alone?
And Cillian Murphy is in both. The fact that he's graduated to leading man status,
World
I'm really excited for it.
will remember this day.
It's a really weird combination of movies to come out the same day, and I've been seeing internet polls about, are you planning to do a Barbie Oppenheimer double header? You know,
I
you
want
don't.
to.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you think toys for little girls and the father of the atomic bomb,
Yeah.
it's not the kind of thing that generally goes hand in hand when you think about the world's greatest physicists and a plastic toy, other than something that was probably melted in the desert as they were testing the atomic bomb. But when you look at, you know, these are interesting though. These are both summer blockbuster movies. These both have huge casts. These both have amazing directors. This is Christopher Nolan's latest film. This is Cillian Murphy as J. Robert Oppenheimer. Tell me about Oppenheimer.
It looks like this movie is just going to be like the development of the atomic bomb. The cool thing about it is I actually don't really know much about this. I'm just a Christopher Nolan fanboy. He's had a few misses in my personal opinion, but we talked about in the beginning with The Dark Knight. Like, I love this guy. I think he's fantastic. And you're right. Like the cast, like, you know, even like someone like Josh Peck from like Drake and Josh is in this movie. Robert Downey Jr. My dad didn't even recognize Robert Downey Jr. when he saw the trailer when we went to go see Indiana Jones. He's like, is that Robert Downey Jr.? I'm like, it is. He's like, holy cow. My dad said, I'm going to buy a ticket. And so it's like, yeah, the cast in this, the story looks really cool. I'm a little concerned about that 3-hour runtime. Not going to lie to you. That's a little bit long for me, but I'll endure. But yeah, the story looks like that's what it's going to be about. I actually, you know, I didn't do that well in school back in the day, so I probably should have paid a little more attention. But like, this idea of it, it's not really a documentary film, but it definitely is going to teach me about history and how everything kind of went down. And you know, we all know Christopher Nolan is just a genius behind that IMAX camera. I mean, it's going to be just amazing. This is a movie that I know I should leave my expectation at the door, but anytime Christopher Nolan puts out a movie, you know it's going to be hotly anticipated, and a lot of people are going to be talking about it no matter what it is. Every time that trailer comes on, there's always the biggest pop in the theater. People are so stoked.
It's amazing too, because Christopher Nolan's dedication to practical effects is,
I love that. Yeah.
It's on such center stage display. And when the first trailers were coming out online in, you know, early mid-January, right after the holidays, the first time I saw the first trailer for Oppenheimer, and all it was a countdown to 7/21/23. I wasn't even quite sure what it was the first time.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah,
like I'm like 7/21/23. What is that? Your high school locker combination? Like, and
that'd be hilarious, actually.
Yeah, and then the trailer for Oppenheimer's playing in constant rotation for the last 6 months, and every time you watch the trailer, it has an updated countdown timer to to the film being released. So, you know, back then it was like 4 months, 21 days, and 6 hours.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're putting that kind of effort behind the launch of it, I have Oppenheimer at number 4 on my list.
Nice.
Initially, I probably would have said that this one would have ended up higher. I'm a huge fan of Nolan, obviously. Oddly, though, I wasn't a huge fan of Tenet, only because of the pacing. And then I pick up my phone and I see that it's exactly 2.5 hours long. I was like, so rather than failing to meet a runtime as the director, he just sort of nipped and tucked every single thing to get it in the film. So the fact that this is the first follow-up to Tenet, Oppenheimer is, it's interesting that it is now, we're getting past the 2.5 hour mark again. If anyone's earned the right as a director to do a 3-hour movie, it is Christopher Nolan, because he's had a Best Picture in Inception. He has, for my money, probably the best produced superhero movie of all time in The Dark Knight. And Cillian Murphy is in both. The fact that he's kind of graduated to leading man status in Oppenheimer, I'm really excited for it. Living in Las Vegas, we're right near the atomic testing grounds. So along Fremont Street, which is sort of the old Las Vegas Strip. So if you're down in Old Town Las Vegas, there's a bar called Atomic Liquor, and it's called Atomic Liquor because they have a deck out front of Atomic Liquor. And the bar is old enough that when they used to do the atomic testing north of Las Vegas, they would actually have parties where people would come out and wait for the flash and the bang and the explosion from the nuclear testing that they were doing in the desert, however many miles away it is. So there's that a little bit of a local connection for me in terms of my interest for Oppenheimer. Yeah. In the same summer that Indiana Jones comes back, that we do not have Harrison Ford hiding from a nuclear explosion in a 1950s refrigerator.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that doesn't end up in this film. But that other than that highly unlikely cameo, I'm really excited for Oppenheimer as well.
For sure.
If you do a double feature, which one are you going to watch first?
It's going to be Oppenheimer. It's going to be. I'm excited for Barbie, but Oppenheimer is going to be the one I go to first. Barbie is it'd be like a fun movie to go see with my friends and family, but Oppenheimer is a movie that I'm really I need to go see it. I'll go alone to see it. So that would be the first one I would see. I am curious to see how well it's going to do. Didn't know this movie was rated R. Had no idea. It's also 3 hours. Come out against Barbie on the same day. I wonder how well it's going to do. So I'm like, Barbie's PG-13 and this movie's rated R, but it's like Christopher Nolan, so it's like I wonder how well it's going to do. But if I had to pick, it would be Oppenheimer. And if I'm going to pick a Christopher Nolan movie, I love Memento or The Dark Knight. Those are probably my two favorites of his. Super good movies.
Even more than Inception.
I liked Inception, but I don't know, Memento I love that movie. There's something about it that I really, really love.
I don't know if I'm going to plan to do a double feature opening day.
It's going to be long.
Yeah, I mean, 3 hours for Oppenheimer and then however long Barbie's going to be. And honestly, too, I don't know which one I would watch first. Because the idea of watching 2 hours of Barbie followed by 3 hours of Oppenheimer, I don't know if I would be able to stay awake through that. But on the other hand, if I do 3 hours of Oppenheimer first, and then watch Barbie as a dessert for eye candy with Margot Robbie, I think that's probably the way I would go. Even though logically that doesn't make any more sense than anything else, but the logic of a Barbie Oppenheimer double header,
for sure.
Yeah, it's the ridiculous and the sublime all mixed up into one.